I have told Eileen to get rid of all the mirrors. I used to like them, but I certainly don't now. Mirrors are too honest. There is only so much truth a woman can take. Are you sure, Mrs. McCreedy? Her voice implies she knows my mind better than I do. She always does that. It is one of her innumerable annoying habits. Of course I'm sure. She clicks her tongue and tilts her head to one side so that her corkscrew curls brush against her shoulder. It's quite a manoeuvre when you consider the extraordinary width of her neck. Even the lovely one with the gilt edge, the one over the mantelpiece. Yes, even that one, I explain patiently. And all the bathroom mirrors, too. Especially those. The bathroom is the last place I want to look at myself. Whatever you say. This in a tone slightly bordering on impertinence. Eileen comes every day. Her main role is cleaning, but her domestic skills leave much to be desired. She seems to be labouring under the impression I don't see dirt. Eileen has a limited collection of facial expressions. Cheerful, nosy, busy, nonplussed, and vacant. Now she puts on her busy face. She bumbles around, emitting a semi-musical noise like a bored bee, collecting the mirrors one by one and stacking them in the hall. She is unable to close the doors behind her because her hands are full, so I follow in her wake, shutting them carefully. If there's one thing that I can't abide in life, it's a door left open. I stroll into the larger of the two sitting rooms. There is now an unsightly dark rectangle in the wallpaper above the mantelpiece. I'll have to fill the space with something else. A nice oil painting with plenty of verdure, I think. Maybe a constable print. That would set off the Lincoln green of the velvet curtains. I should like a calming pastoral scene with hills and a lake. A swathe of landscape empty of human beings would be best. There we are, then, Mrs. McCreedy. I think that's all of them. At least Eileen refrains from using my Christian name. Most young people these days seem to have abandoned Mr., Mrs. and Miss, which, if you ask me, is a sad reflection on modern society. I addressed Eileen as Mrs. Thompson for the first 6 months she worked for me. I only stopped doing it because she begged me. Please call me Eileen, Mrs. McCreedy. I would be so much happier if you would. Well, please continue to call me Mrs. McCreedy, Eileen, I replied. I would be so much happier if you would. I like the house much better, now that it's lost the appalling spectres of Veronica McCreedy taunting me from every corner. Eileen puts her hands on her hips. Well, I'll be putting this lot away then now. I'll stack them in the back room, shall I? There's still some space in there. The back room is excessively dark and a little on the cold side, not really usable as a living space. The spiders think it belongs to them. Eileen, in her great wisdom, uses it as a depository for any item I desire to be rid of. She is a firm believer in hoarding everything, just in case. She heaves the mirrors across the kitchen. I resist the urge to close the doors as she goes back and forth, knowing this will only make life more difficult for her. I console myself with the thought that they'll all be shut again soon. She is back 5 minutes later. I hope you don't mind me asking, Mrs. McCreedy, but I had to move this out of the way to fit the mirrors in. Do you know what it is? What's in it? Do you want it? I can always ask Doug to take it to the rubbish tip next time he goes. She dumps the old wooden box on the kitchen table and goggles at the rusty padlock. I choose to ignore her question and inquire instead, who is this Doug? You know, Doug, my husband. I'd forgotten she was married. I've never been introduced to the unfortunate man. Well, I shan't be requiring him to take any of my possessions to the rubbish tip in the near or indeed distant future, I tell her. You can leave it on the table for now. She runs her finger along the top of the box, stroking away a clean trail in the dust. Expression number 2, nosy, has now established itself on her face. She leans in toward me conspiratorially. I lean backward a little, having no desire whatsoever to conspire. "I've tried the padlock to see if there might be something valuable inside," she confesses, "but it's stuck. You need to know the code if you want to open it." I am well aware of that fact, Eileen. She clearly assumes I am as clueless about the contents as she is. My skin crawls at the thought of Eileen looking inside. Other people meddling is the very reason I locked it all up in the first place. There is only one person who I will ever permit to see the contents of that box, and that person is myself. I am not ashamed. Oh no, never that. At least... But I absolutely refuse to be led down that path. There are things contained in that box that I've managed not to think about for decades. Now the mere sight of it provokes a distinct wobble in my knee joints. I sit down quickly. "Eileen, would you be kind enough to put the kettle on?"